Have Bristol City already done enough business in this summer transfer window to be sufficiently equipped ahead of the new 25-26 campaign, which will kick off in exactly a month's time away at Sheffield United? Is there a general sentiment that, this is enough, we should be okay to go into this new season? How does this squad fit in with what Gerhard Struber wants? Is it exactly to Struber's liking? Is it generally to Struber's liking? And is there any areas of deficiencies that maybe the recruitment department, Gerhard Struber, will be looking at from now up until the end of the transfer window in late August? And we'll be looking at and going, that might be a position we might be in for. We'll be having a look, and we'll be having a look at the squad. We'll be having a look at multiple different positions, and maybe highlighting a couple of areas of deficiencies. The signings that have already come in have been Adam Randall, Joe Lumley, and Emil Rees. So logically, we'll start with the goalkeeping department and work our way up. Goalkeeping wise, I think there was always going to be one goalkeeper brought in, maybe even two. Max O'Leary, I think now, is definitely going to be the number one going into this new campaign. Lewis Thomas has signed a new deal. Joe Lumley has come in as a replacement for Stefan Bajic. So that's going to be one, Max O'Leary, two, Joe Lumley, three, Lewis Thomas, and I think that will be the goalkeeping department sorted for Bristol City. In the defensive positions, we'll start with the fullbacks first and then talk about the centre-backs. I think fullbacks-wise, we're probably fine. And I think upgrading on first choice left back Campering, who would be my first choice left back, and Hayden Roberts would be expensive and not something on City's agenda. Right back wise, I think we're pretty solid there as well. We've got a nice complexion, I think, in Ross McCrory, who's more of an attacking fullback, and maybe against some of the poorer teams of the division, McCrory would be really effective, and he's had a real goal threat as well. He's mentioned a lot of times about being a presence at the back stick, and that's certainly something he's done. He's done that at left wing back as well. So if Struber's fullbacks are attacking, nice and forward, well, McCrory would really benefit, and his physicality, I think, would suit quite well into Struber's style of play. So I think Ross McCrory is actually going to be one of the big winners from this Gerhard Struber appointment. George Tanner is a good defensive option. I think he probably will play second fiddle to Ross McCrory. Let's have a little deeper look into the centre-back options. The centre-back options are intriguing. They're strong in numbers, so McNally, Dickey, Viner, Atkinson, and Jamie Knight-Labelle. Knight-Labelle, probably the lowest out of the lot in terms of the ranking, but a good young player might well sanction another loan move for him, preferably to a promotion-chasing League 2 side, or a team in League 1 maybe, and that would, I think, would do his development good. So let's presume that happens. So 4 defenders left, centre-backs left for Bristol City. McNally's out for a long time. That's the big caveat, isn't it? That's the big problem I think Bristol City have, and that might force their hand in terms of keeping Knight-Labelle for the first half of the season and then sanctioning a loan move second half of the campaign. Now, obviously, you've got 3 centre-backs after that. You've got Dickey, Viner, Atkinson. Atkinson hasn't played for Bristol City in about 2 years, and looked really good for Pompey second half of the season, last season. So has got that sort of game time recently, which is good, and has proven himself to be a really good championship centre back when he has played for Bristol City previously. Viner and Dickey have got that partnership. This all kind of depends on whether Struber deploys a 3 or a 4. History suggests that it'll probably be a 4. That's what he did predominantly pretty much all the time at Cologne, which is the most recent job. If that is the case, it probably will be a left footer and a right footer to give us that balance. I would quite like that. I'm a bit of a I don't know. I just quite like that balance of a right and a left. Although Dickey's done really, really well on the left-hand side of a centre-back pairing and even a 3, I just think having a left and a right in a 4 in a pairing would be quite nice. And Rob Atkinson, well, I think he's proven himself to be a really good centre back. Who does he take the place of though? Viner and Dickey. Who drops out? I think that's the real important question here. Now, Dickey and Atkinson both have quite a few things in common, apart from the fact that Atkinson's left-footed, Dickey's right-footed. Both pretty good on the ball, both good ball carriers, both pretty good in the air. Viner has more pace than both of them, and that was a problem last season with Rob Dickie. The lack of pace can be caught out by teams that recognise that and will catch you out on that. Can you negate that by playing Viner with Atkinson? And that will be seriously harsh on Rob Dickie, but would the lack of pace provided by Atkinson be compensated by Viner, who's a bit quicker? It's an interesting dynamic. Let me know your thoughts on if it is a centre-back pairing, which is what I'm presuming it's going to be at the start of this season. What centre-back pairing would you go for out of Dickie, Viner and Atkinson? Would you go for Dickie and Viner, who've been pretty good for us last season and the season before that? Or would you go and mix things up a little bit and provide a little bit more balance in terms of left and right, and Atkinson, who's potentially got a little bit more of an upside and might prove himself to be a really, really good player for Bristol City? Let me know your thoughts on what your centre-back pairing would be in the comment section down below. I think central midfield is probably our strongest area in terms of what Struber wants and in terms of just the quality we have in there. So at the moment, Jason Knight hasn't left Bristol City Football Club. So you've got Knight, Randall in there, who both engines, and what we've sort of heard of Randall is that he's an engine. He will not stop running. That will fit perfectly into what Gerhard Struber wants. And then you've got Max Bird in there, who can certainly press. He can certainly play a little bit higher up the pitch. You've got that flexibility in Bird, and he's a really good passer of the ball. So I think midfield, and you've got Joe Williams in there, who's robust, aggressive, good tackler. McGuane, who's a little bit more simple, will keep things calm in there and will provide a little bit more composure. I think we've got a nice, good balance in that, and I think this is why the addition of Randall, I think, really sort of helped Bristol City and Gerhard Struber, because I think it's a nice match. So I think midfield we have no problems with at all. We've got nice, flexible players in there who can play higher, lower. You've got Marcus McGuane, who can literally play sort of 8, 6. Knight, who can play higher up the pitch as well, and has done previously. You've got, I think, a really good balance there going. Moving into the forward areas then, you've got natural wingers at Bristol City in Mark Sykes, Yuha Rakawa and Anis Mehmeti. Anis Mehmeti has played in that number 10 position that I talk about in this 4-3-1-2 at Wycombe, and has done, I think, a couple of times, if memory serves right, for Bristol City under Nigel Pearson, less so Liam Manning, so that was a long time ago. Mark Sykes, you don't really want to play him at right back, although he can do if there are serious injury concerns, and he has done previously for City. Yuha Rakawa, you definitely don't want to be playing at right back. Wing back, a little bit different. Same with Sykes. I think wing back is probably a really nice position for Mark Sykes. But if we don't go with 3 and then wing backs, I think that's sort of an irrelevant conversation to be having. Can you deploy them in the 10? Yuha Rakawa, maybe. Anis Mehmeti, maybe. Sykes, less so. I think he's more of your dribbly kind of similar elk to you, but I think you maybe has a little more flexibility in terms of the number 10 position. I don't know. I don't know where Mark Sykes fits into this team, to be honest, if that is the formation that Struber goes with, and that is quite, set in stone. That would be my only concern with Mark Sykes, and that's the only sort of problem I'm having. But yeah, I think Sykes is a sort of last-ditch, fullback cover. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but yeah. Does he fit into the number 10 position? No. Does he really fit into one of the 8s? Definitely not 6. Is he one of the 8s? Don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But in terms of the 10, you've got Josh Stokes, you've got Scott Twine, you've got Max Bird. I think, Max Bird is a sort of option in there if needs be. I think you're well stocked in there. So, yeah, what happens with Mark Sykes if that's the formation that we do go with? I think that will be an interesting sort of development, because Sykes is definitely one of our better players last season. So, sort of cut him because the formation doesn't fit him would be really, really harsh. But if that's what the benefit of the team is, and that's what Struber wants, that's what Struber's going to do. I think the number 9 position is the position that Bristol City have got to be looking at, I think, as maybe one addition in that region, because you've got Emile Rees up top, and if it is going to be a 2 up top, it will be Rees as one of the strikers. I think there's no real argument about that. You've got Armstrong, you've got Fally Mayulu, you've got Harry Cornick, you've got Sam Bell. So you've got 4 other options, and Yeboah, but he'll probably be shipped out on loan. You've got options and strength in numbers. Have you got necessary quality? Have we seen enough from particularly Sinclair Armstrong and Fally Muyulu to suggest that these guys could, push Bristol City to the next level. Would they fit into what Struber wants? I think Armstrong would be okay in terms of a fit. Has he shown the necessary quality as a striker, though? Maybe not. Has he done enough to convince me? I don't think so. Same goes with Fally. Obviously, he had less sort of time to properly judge Fally Muyulu because he was shipped off on loan halfway through the season. But still, I just think there's somewhat of a lack of quality in that forward region. Obviously, I think replacing Nahki Wells is going to be so hard, and I think we got really lucky with Nahki Wells and that he was so good and actually did really well in what Liam Manning wanted last season, and he stayed fit for pretty much all the season. But that was only because of the fact that both Fally and Sinclair Armstrong, completely under-delivered for Bristol City. That's the only reason Nahki Wells even started playing consistent games. If one of them, if one of Sinclair Armstrong and Fally Muyulu, performed well, Nahki Wells wouldn't have played. And that's the thing. Are we going to strike out again? Are we going to really sort of be lucky, and is someone going to step up? And that's the big issue we have at Bristol City. I think that's that lack of quality, that lack of trust. The fans, particularly having both Fally and Sinclair Armstrong at the moment, I think that would be the position the Bristol City have to be looking at if there is a lack of trust in that striking department. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you be looking to make one more addition in that striking department? But yeah, I think that's the position I'd be looking at if there was to be any further additions. In conclusion then, I think the forward region is the only one, particularly that number 9 position, is the only region where I think Bristol City should really be looking at and going, that could do some real upgrade, a pep up, maybe a loan quality bit of stardust in that position. Something to really just go, right, you've got 2 really good number 9s there in Reese and maybe someone else. Look, someone might step up. Armstrong, Fally, Cornick, Bell, who knows? But I think there's got to be a real sort of faith in someone else alongside Emil Reese to really step up and take Bristol to the next level. I think there's that lack of faith in the striking options at the moment, and that's not really the ideal position you want to be going into this new championship season. But yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with the fact that I think the striking region is the only position at the moment subject to any sort of departures, particularly Jason Knight, maybe, and hopefully not, but subject to any changes? That would be the only position I'm looking at the moment. Maybe one more in. That would really not help with numbers, but I think in terms of quality, there's a little bit lacking in there, and that's the big issue. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.